So I first started writing poems when I was in elementary school, but I didn't know enough to call them poems. They were short stories or writings that eventually got shorter and shorter. And then in high school, I took a really important trip to Lebanon with my father, and it made me reflect a lot on, I think, the value of writing and the value of writing in community. And the poems that came out of that trip led me to the White House. I became a 2016 National Student Poet, and I had the opportunity to read a poem for First Lady Michelle Obama. And I think that really showed me the power of writing. After I graduated from high school, I went to Stanford, which is a school famed for feeding world-class software engineers and analysts. That experience helped me also think more about my experience as an Arab American woman of gendered and racialized surveillance, and made me question a lot of the language and forms that we use to think about technology. And all of that thinking about technology, computers, and algorithm turned into my debut collection of poems, which is called How to Make an Algorithm in the Microwave. Being a poet specifically, a female poet of color specifically, comes with a lot of worries about tokenization, the manipulation of my narrative to represent my entire community when I can only speak from my lived experience. I think generally the struggle of being an artist is support, not only emotional but financial too. I had gotten into the Martha's Vineyard Institute for Creative Writing, which was a really exciting it was my first kind of residency acceptance as a writer and a poet. And the only problem was that it cost, I think, $1,500 that I didn't have. And so I had just kind of looked up like San Diego art foundations to see what kind of pool of support existed for artists who were making art for and about this city. I was lucky enough to stumble upon the WMF website and connected with them through an arts grant that I ended up receiving, and which allowed me to attend that retreat, which was actually really formative to even me just considering myself a capital A artist. I was lucky enough to receive another grant from WMF to help me work on my book and to pay for that labor and the time that I was taking away from other jobs that I could be working, to really just sit down and take the time to put together the book. I think poetry makes life more joyful, and for that I think it's one of the most valuable and intimate things you can commit to. So I think the reason we can care about poetry is it helps us be more alive, and it challenges us to take the risks which come with being alive, to take the risks of loving and trying and believing in language and the power of sharing language and the power of storytelling and storytelling in community, because poetry can't happen in a void, and it happens with and for all of us. So I think poetry for me is another avenue to liberation.